Welcome back to the deep dive.
Hey there.
So today we're diving into something I think is really interesting, especially now. It's this whole world of building a profitable email newsletter.
Yeah, and not just any newsletter strategy, right? We've got this stack of notes, basically source material focused on a very specific angle.
Exactly. The angle is, how do you do it with like zero budget, starting from scratch, no money down?
Precisely.
Hmm.
The material we're looking at, this collection of notes and excerpts, it's all about that specific challenge. Launching, growing, and actually making money from an email newsletter without spending anything upfront.
Which sounds kind of wild in 2025, doesn't it?
It does, but this material, it frames these newsletters not just as, sending out emails. It calls them mini businesses.
Right. And part of this email gold rush idea it talks about.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to pull out the key bits from this stuff
Yeah, let's unpack the actual steps, the strategies it suggests, the free tools it mentions.
and see how it actually presents this as being possible. Building an audience, getting engagement, earning some income, all starting with literally $0.
Let's dig in. So maybe the first thing is, why email at all? There are so many platforms now.
That's a fundamental question the source addresses right away, and it makes a strong case.
What are the main points?
Well, number one is what it calls direct access. Basically, you're not relying on some algorithm deciding who sees your stuff.
Like on social media?
Exactly. Your email lands directly in the inbox of someone who asked to get it. That's huge.
Okay, that makes sense. Direct line.
And that leads to the second point, ownership.
Right.
It's your list,
Not renting space on someone else's platform.
right? Rules can change, accounts get banned,
Right.
but your email list, you own that connection. You control that line to your audience.
Which feels increasingly important.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
because of that direct connection and the fact people opted in, the source describes this list as your warmest audience.
Meaning, more likely to convert.
Yeah, basically. When it comes to turning attention into income, this audience is presented as inherently monetization ready.
Okay, so that sets the stage for why email. But the big question remains, how do you start this with $0?
Right. The practical steps. The notes break it down pretty clearly.
So step one, what's the absolute first thing?
Choosing a free newsletter platform. You need the tech foundation, but you don't need to pay for it initially.
Okay, and does it name names? Like what platforms offer good free options?
Yeah, it highlights a few. Beehive comes up, mentions its clean design, built-in referral stuff.
Oh yeah, the referral programs can be powerful for growth.
And even an ad network you might be able to use later on. All on the free tier, apparently.
Interesting. What else?
It also points to ConvertKit's free plan. It says it's very creator-focused and pretty simple to use.
Good for beginners, maybe?
Seems like it. And MailerLite gets a mention too, known for being easy, like drag and drop simple.
So the main point here is you don't need to shell out cash just to start collecting emails and sending them.
Exactly. The source emphasizes that these free plans are good enough to get started. You can gather subscribers, send your newsletters, maybe set up a simple welcome email, and track the basics like who's opening, who's clicking. That's all you need at the beginning.
Okay, platform sorted, free tech exists. What's next? For starting for free, you need people to talk to?
Absolutely. Step two is figuring out who that is, picking your niche and audience.
The niche question. Always important.
And the source really hammers this home. Focus. Pick a specific theme that a specific group of people really cares about.
Does it give examples?
It does. Things like productivity hacks for students, or maybe daily AI tools for creators, or health habits for busy professionals, specific stuff.
Got it. So not just business advice, but something much narrower.
Precisely. The source basically says narrow focus equals higher engagement and conversions.
Which makes sense, right? If you're trying to grow organically without ads, you need to resonate deeply.
Totally. You can't afford to blast a wide message hoping something sticks. You need that targeted appeal.
Okay, platform niche. Now, how do you actually get signups with zero budget? This feels like the hard part.
It's definitely a hurdle. Step three, according to the source, is creating a lead magnet. It calls this optional, but
But highly recommended, I bet.
incredibly powerful for growth, yeah. Especially the free growth we're talking about.
So a lead magnet. Remind us what that is.
It's just something valuable you offer for free in exchange for an email address. An ethical bribe, basically.
Like a checklist or a short guide?
Exactly. The source suggests things like a free ebook, a checklist, maybe a cheat sheet, a mini guide related to your niche.
And crucially, for the $0 approach,
Yeah.
how do you make one?
Ah, yes. It explicitly points out you can use totally free tools. Canva for design if you need visual.
Canva's great, yeah.
Yeah.
Very powerful free version.
Or even just Google Docs or Notion to write and organize the content. Keep it simple but valuable.
Okay, so free platform, focus topic, freebie offer ready. Step 4 must be telling people about it.
You got it. Step 4, promotion. Getting the word out everywhere you can without paying for ads.
Where does the source suggest looking?
It lists a whole bunch of free channels, your Instagram bio, obviously, using Instagram stories effectively,
Makes sense.
writing threads on Twitter X, posting genuinely helpful answers or content on places like Quora or Reddit in relevant communities.
Okay, so being active where your potential audience already hangs out.
Exactly. Also, putting links in your YouTube video descriptions if you make videos, participating thoughtfully in relevant Facebook groups, sharing on LinkedIn if that fits your niche.
It's basically leveraging any existing online footprint you might have or building one organically.
Yes, and it also mentions using those free link in bio tools like Linktree or similar.
So you have one central place to point people towards your newsletter sign up from all these different platforms.
Right. Makes it easy for them. Remove the friction.
Okay, so that covers getting set up and finding those initial subscribers for free. Now, the profitable part. How do you actually make money from this?
Yeah, the monetization piece. The source suggests that realistically you can start thinking about this once you get to around 100 or so engaged subscribers.
100. That still feels quite small to be talking about profitability. Can you elaborate on what the source means by that? Is it really profit at that stage?
That's a really good clarification. Based on the material, it's not suggesting you'll be, rolling in cash at 100 subscribers.
Right.
It's more about demonstrating that the model works, that you can generate revenue. Even if it's small initially, it might just cover a tiny cost you didn't even anticipate or just prove the concept.
Okay, so it's like the first step towards actual profit, proving viability, especially since you started with zero investment.
Exactly. That initial proof can be really motivating. So once you have that base, that small but engaged group, the material outlines 4 main ways to potentially earn income. First up, affiliate marketing.
Okay, affiliate marketing. How does that work in a newsletter context?
It's pretty straightforward. You recommend products or services that you genuinely use or believe in and that are relevant to your audience, your niche.
And you include a special link.
Yep, your unique affiliate link. If someone clicks that link in your email and buys something, you get a small commission. The source suggests this fits naturally because you've already built some trust with that direct audience.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second method?
Sponsored emails. Or maybe sponsorships within emails.
The brand's paying you.
Yeah. Partnering with brands whose stuff aligns with your audience. They pay you to include a message, maybe a dedicated section, or an offer in your newsletter.
Gotcha. And the third one?
Selling your own products. This is often seen as the long-term goal for many creators.
Like digital products.
Mostly, yeah. Especially starting out. Ebooks, templates, checklists, maybe short guides, eventually even online courses, things you create yourself.
And again, the source probably suggests using free tools to build these initially.
Absolutely. It ties back to the $0 start. Leverage free tools to create that first product.
Okay. And the fourth method?
Leveraging newsletter ads. This is slightly different from sponsorships. Some platforms like the Beehive and ConvertKit mentioned earlier,
Right, the platforms themselves.
they offer built-in ways to integrate ads directly into your newsletter. You might get paid based on how many people open the email or click the ad.
Interesting. So multiple potential income streams once you have that initial audience.
Exactly. The core strategy presented is build value, build that initial engaged audience using only free methods, then start layering in these monetization approaches.
Value first, then revenue.
Precisely. And the source doesn't just stop at setup and monetization. It gives some best practices for, keeping it going and growing within this free framework.
Like being consistent, I imagine.
Oh yeah, consistency is huge. The note suggests sending weekly or maybe bi-weekly is a good rhythm. Keeps you top of mind without overwhelming people.
And probably keeping the emails themselves focused.
Yes, absolutely. Keep them simple. Short, value-packed emails tend to do better than, long, rambling essays.
Makes sense. People are busy.
And add a personal touch. Right? Like you're talking to a friend, not broadcasting to a faceless crowd. That connection matters.
What about getting people to actually do something?
The call to action, or CTA. The source strongly advises having just one clear CTA per email.
Just one. Why is that?
Reduces confusion. Tell your reader exactly the one thing you want them to do next. Click this link, reply to this email, check out this page, make it super obvious and easy for them.
Okay, simple, consistent, personal, clear call to action. Got it. You know, one thing the source apparently tackles, which I think holds a lot of people back from starting anything online.
Let me guess. Feeling like you need to be an expert, a guru.
Exactly, that imposter syndrome thing. What does the source say about that?
Well, this is actually one of the most powerful messages in the material, I think. It directly pushes back on that. It says you absolutely do not need to be some established newsletter expert or guru to make this work.
Really? So what do you need then, according to this?
Just three things, basically. One, something genuinely valuable or interesting to say to a specific group. Doesn't have to be earth-shattering, just useful or engaging to them.
Okay, value for a niche.
Two, access to those free tools we talked about, which are readily available.
Right, the platforms, Canva, Docs, etc.
And three, just the willingness to actually do it, to take consistent actions, send the emails, promote it, engage.
So it's more about action and providing niche value than having some huge pre-existing authority.
Exactly. The source has this great line, something like, in a world full of noisy, fleeting content, your email inbox can be a place where you are a calm, trusted voice and potentially a profitable one.
I like that. It really reframes it away from needing big budgets or fancy software just to get started.
Yeah, it's completely focused on leveraging free resources and that core idea of exchanging value. Your insight, your connection for their attention and permission.
Okay, let's sort of wrap this up then. We're nearing the end of this deep dive.
Sounds good.
So summarizing what we've pulled from this source material today, it lays out a pretty clear argument, a path, suggesting that building a profitable email newsletter totally from scratch
Spending literally $0 on tools, zero on ads.
is actually presented as achievable
Yeah.
right now in 2025.
Yeah, the strategy boils down to using those free platforms, really nailing down a specific niche audience.
Creating some kind of free incentive, that lead magnet, using free tools.
Promoting it organically through free channels you already use or can build.
And then, once you hit that initial base, maybe around 100 engaged subscribers, starting to explore those monetization options, affiliates, sponsors, your own stuff, platform ads.
And critically, it really stresses that you don't need to be some kind of guru figure.
Right. Just need something valuable to share for a specific group, use the free tools out there, and be consistent with it.
But maybe the biggest underlying theme, the thing the source material seems to value most, it isn't just the money potential.
What is it then?
It's the idea of building direct ownership of your audience, creating a real direct relationship with people.
Contrasting it with social media again.
Exactly. It presents that owned email list as fundamentally different, more stable, more valuable than just having followers on platforms where algorithms rule and things can change instantly.
Okay, so that leads us perfectly into a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on after this deep dive.
Yeah.
This source material makes a really strong case, doesn't it? That the direct relationship you build through email, something you actually own and control, is presented as potentially the most valuable asset you can build online in the long run.
More valuable, arguably, than just racking up followers on platforms you ultimately don't own.
So the question for you is, how does that idea change how you think about building an online presence, or maybe even a business today? That idea that the owned direct connection is paramount.
Consider the real value of that direct line, especially in a world just saturated with fleeting, algorithm-driven content everywhere else. Something to think about.